Good afternoon, and welcome to another session of the Rousseau Report, sponsored by AircraftPost, the global leader in market intelligence for business jets. I'm your host, Dennis Rousseau. This opening slide I shot one morning here at Metro Airport, and as most of you can appreciate, there's something to be said about the Rocky Mountains. And there's a lot to be said about the global economy. And if you haven't seen our session on markets, I would encourage you to do so, as a lot of the dynamics we mentioned back then are now coming to fruition. And they do impact our business jet markets, but not to get off the beaten path. 2021 was quite a year for sales. According to the latest AircraftPost numbers, we can now report there were 1,057 pre-owned business jets sold in 2021, which is a 6% increase over 2020's 993. New business jet deliveries, and not orders, but in-service deliveries, totaled 545, a 13% increase over the 474 the previous year. From what I've been able to glean from the OEMs, they have a backlog of 12 to 24 months from orders taken last year. But keep in mind, these upticks in market price and number of transactions and new orders are short-lived. As a result, OEMs don't pull the trigger and invest millions in expanding their production facilities. What we found from the pre-owned transactions, there were a lot of first-time buyers. What's sparking this is anyone's guess. And the reasons are all over the board. The pandemic, we're getting older, we have some extra money, our children are on their own, and when we're not using it, we can put it out for charter and make some money. Ouch. That's our topic today, charter. That's a Philippine citizen's charter. No. There we go. The charter lady parking her $200,000 sports car in front of the wing. As a refresher, let's break business jets down to the most simplistic form. There are basically three categories: small, medium, and large. Small jets have a relatively small exterior and interior, and they're suited for a specific mission. You basically crawl into the 4.5 tall cabin, sit down, and crawl out when you get to your destination. Aircraft such as the CJ series, Lear 45, 75, PC-24, and Phenom 300 are all small jets. They have a range of plus or minus 1,800 miles, but an average stage length of only 1.5 hours. And that's their intended mission: fly for an hour and a half, then land. These aircraft are going to charter for around $3,000 an hour. Now, there's a subcategory, or commonly known as the VLJ, or very light jet, that's generally more compact than the small jet and typically flown by the owner single pilot. This category would include the Citation M2, Eclipse, Phenom 100, and they have a range of around 1,000 miles. As a side note, there are so many charter providers today, and they all seem to have their own programs offering one-way rates, share an airplane, buy a seat, and the list goes on. So when I mention rates, they're in the aggregate and used for illustration. The next category is the medium jet, and as the name implies, they have a medium-sized cabin with a cabin height of roughly 5'7" inches. They seat 4 to 6 passengers over an average range of 2,400 miles. Average charter rate for a Hawker, Lear 60, or Citation XLS is going to come in right around $4,200 an hour. And although the aircraft, such as the Hawker 900, has coast-to-coast nonstop capability, this category also has an average stage length of 1.5 hours. Next up, the super midsize, which was started in the late 90s with the Falcon 50EX and G200, each offering stand-up headroom and seating for 6 comfortably. And as you'll note, each has a 3,000-mile range. This category continues with the G280, Challenger 350, and Hawker 4000. These aircraft have a range of 3,000 to 3,600 miles, cabin height of 6 feet, and can accommodate 6 to 9 passengers. Charter rate averages $5,500 an hour. From there, we migrate into the large jet 2-zone cabin with aircraft such as the Challenger 6 series and Falcon 2000 Easy. They have a range up to 3,800 miles and a charter rate of $7,500 an hour. As you probably surmised thus far, as the aircraft goes up in size, category, and acquisition cost, the charter rate increases proportionately. Next, we're staying in the large jet category. However, now we move from the 2-zone cabin into the 3-zone with Gulfstream's G450 and the Dassault Falcon 900LX. To give you some idea of interior size, the cabin of the G450 is 27 feet long, and each section or zone is 8 feet 6 inches, allowing plenty of room for 4 passengers sitting across from one another. The range of these aircraft is also going to increase, 4,000 plus miles. Now, just as you think we've covered them all, oh my God, Now we move into the long-range category, featuring the current production Falcon 7X and Gulfstream's G500, both with a 3-zone cabin accommodating up to 12 passengers, forward and aft lavatories, 5,000 plus mile range, and a charter rate of $11,000 an hour. Just 2 more to go, and believe me, there used to be just 3 categories comprising maybe 8 models. Let's move to the long range, consisting of the Global 6000 and G550, that have a range of 6,000 and 6,500 miles respectively. And similar to the majority of aircraft in this category, they also have 3-zone cabins, and they're going to charter for roughly plus or minus $12,000 an hour. The last category, thank you, is the ultra-long range that presently consists of the G650 and Global 7500 that offer a range of 7,000 miles and a charter rate $15,000 an hour. So now that we've laid the parameters for charter, categories, price, and so forth, if you own a business jet and fly 200 hours a year, then charter the aircraft to third parties when available for another, let's say, 200 hours. Does it make sense? Before we continue, please note, I'm not going to address taxes. There are an abundance of benefits and deferrals to owning an aircraft, whether it's strictly owner use or chartering to third parties. Contact your tax advisor, specific to your situation. Okay, let's look at an annual operating budget for 200 hours of owner use, and we'll use the Falcon 900LX. Other than acquisition cost, monthly payments, we have 2 main cost centers, fixed and variable. Fixed covers most everything you're going to have just owning the aircraft, such as crew salaries, training, aircraft insurance, hangar, and the like. Then variable costs are what you'll incur when you fly: fuel, engine costs, crew overnights. And please feel free to pause the screen to review the numbers in detail. However, we consulted a number of operators to validate these numbers, so I feel very comfortable in their presentation. And with an annual operation of 200 hours, you can figure a budget of $2.4 million a year, or $11,800 an hour, and that's without market depreciation, one of my favorite topics. And remember, it's a cost of ownership. While we're on this topic, look at what happens when there's an uptick in the market, such as 2007, 2008. Values, not selling price, always return to whence they came. And the same holds true in a downturn. They will return. So at the end of the day, market depreciation can add another $7,500 an hour to your cost of ownership, depending, of course, on whether you purchase new or pre-owned. And that $7,500 is applicable to the purchase price of a Falcon 900LX. Now let's look at an annual budget for 200 hours of owner use and 200 hours of charter. Both cost categories are obviously going to increase, as you'll need an additional crew member, perhaps even a flight attendant, which we've not calculated in this example. Your variable costs will also increase for a grand total of $3.3 million, compared to the $2.4 million flying 200 hours a year. Now, let's calculate charter revenue at $11,000 an hour over 200 hours, which gives us $2.2 million. And like most companies, we can't work for nothing. So we take a 20% commission of $440,000, bringing our net to $1.7 million. Owner cost with 200 hours of charter, $8,800 an hour. Owner cost for 200 hours of use and 0 charter, $8,300 an hour. Does it make sense to charter? What happens with tight margins and you have a mechanical during a charter? What about excess wear and tear? You need to carefully evaluate all the factors, including tax implications, and once you have all the information, only then can you make an informed decision. I hope this primer has helped. Until next time, let's get on our Falcon 7X and get the hell out of here. I'm Dennis Rousseau for the Rousseau Report. Have a good day.